Hello, my name is Andy DeCourt, and it's my privilege to serve as the pastor here at Phoenix Christian Reformed Church. As some of you know, we've embarked on a vision process, and you might be wondering, well, why would you do that? The truth about vision is that if there isn't one vision, then everyone kind of has their own vision and just keeps doing what they're doing. And you might remember from the book of Judges, there's a common refrain. Well, I know. Judges isn't the most popular book of the Bible, but there's a refrain that goes like this. In those days, Israel had no king, and everyone did as they saw fit. Now, it's not that everyone was doing bad stuff. Sure, some people were, but for the most part, everyone was doing as they saw fit, however they thought best. And it can be like that in the church, too. It's not that everyone's doing bad things. In fact, most people aren't. But everyone is doing their own thing. And if we want to move in a particular direction, we need to, as a group, set that vision and then go for it. It's not that we're doing bad things. In fact, again, many of us are doing good things. It's just that we want to focus on what does God have for us? What's the most important thing for us to be doing as a people? In John 13 through 17, Jesus is with his disciples in the upper room. He's focusing on what's most important. He's telling them the biggest things, his biggest themes, his biggest plans for them, his dreams for them, his hopes for them. He prays for them. We never hear anything about the lower room, wherever they're working on the details for the food or anything else. The big idea of the upper room trumps everything that happens in the lower room. Let me show you an illustration of what I mean. Churches without a defined vision have a vision vacuum. However, something will nourish the identity of the congregants if vision is absent. People need a vision. They need a hope that vision brings. Their souls seek some conduit for meaning. And if the leaders aren't providing a meaningful vision and nourishing it, people will find meaning in churches in at least 4 different places. These aren't bad in and of themselves, but they're lower room versions of vision. So the first is personalities. For some churchgoers, connection to their church is connection to a pastor, especially a superstar pastor who writes books or preaches on TV. A second substitute for vision is programs. Programs are important, but programs by themselves shouldn't be what keeps someone at a church. Our church doesn't feel very program or personality driven to me or our vision team as we discussed it. However, we have 2 other options that do fit us pretty well. The next one is places. The places of our God moments matter. The places where we come each week matters. The last one I'll highlight is people. Perhaps the greatest substitute for a healthy membership identity, for a healthy vision, is the group of people at a church, whether it's 5 or 10 or 50, who really know my name. Relationships are important, but community without a cause, community without a bigger vision, is both unbiblical and a common source of identity for a churchgoer. In the absence of a broader vision, a broader goal and purpose in being part of a church, the familiar friends, personalities, programs, places, and people, although they are essential to a church, those become central to a person's identity as a Christian. Our goal in defining vision is to be listening to God for what God would have us see as the upper room concern, as the upper room vision. What's the spirit-empowered vision that God would be calling us to? Now again, it's not that personalities, programs, places, or people are bad. They're essential. They can be essential steps to help people move from lower room concerns to the upper room concern that God has for us. We can do many things well. In fact, we do many things well. There's others we could do better, others that could be God be calling us to that we're not doing at all. We want to align ourselves with where God wants us to go. That's what the vision process is all about, and it's why we've embarked on it. At Phoenix CRC, we have a 9-person vision team, and this is the overview of the process that we're working through. So we started by talking about pumpkin jars. What obstacles are we facing? What self-imposed boundaries are we putting on ourselves that might be keeping us from the sort of growth that God would have for us as a church? In the second step, we worked through our kingdom concept, the idea of the three circles. The first circle is our local predicament. What are the unique needs and opportunities where God has placed us? Circle 2 is our collective potential. What are the unique resources and capabilities that God brings together in us? Circle 3 is our apostolic esprit, a fancy word for what particular focus energizes and animates us. The third part of the process is the vision frame. The vision frame contains the 5 components that will define our church's DNA and create the platform for all of our vision casting going forward. The first side of the frame is mission. What's our missional mandate? What are we doing? The second side is values, our missional motives. Why are we doing what we're doing? The third side is strategy. What's our missional map? What does someone go forward and do? How are we doing that? The fourth side is measures. What are our missional life marks? What would we have? So how would we know if we're successful? What questions would we have someone who's been a part of our church ask themselves? So that's what we've been working through most recently as a team, the vision frame. And the fourth step of the vision process will be defining the vision proper, where is God taking us? And the fifth step in the vision process is defining how we'll live it out. So as I said, our vision team so far has most recently been working in the third step. We haven't got to 4 and 5 yet. But we're ready. We're ready to share some of our early draft work. We've already shared some of that with the council, and now we're ready to share our draft mission and our draft values, the first 2 sides of the vision frame. Instead of presenting the first 2 sides of the vision frame to only the council, the vision team would really like to get input from as many people as possible. So you're invited, along with the council, to a special event on Sunday, September 12, following the worship service, where we will indeed unveil the first 2 sides, at least the drafts of the first 2 sides of our vision frame, mission and vision. So the way that the morning will work, we'll worship as we normally do on Sunday mornings, and then after the service, we'll go and sit in the fellowship hall around tables, and I'll spend a little bit of time unveiling our mission, our proposed vision, and then everyone will have a time for feedback, to give some insights into what they like or don't like about it, suggestions they might have. And then there'll also be a time for a reporter or a scribe at each table to report back on what their table thought. So then we'll do that for mission, and then we'll take a break, and then we'll do the same thing for values. Different members of the vision team will each unveil one of the 4 values that we're proposing. And again, it'll be the same thing. There'll be 15 minutes for people at the tables to make some notes or to ask some questions of the vision team members seated at their table. And then after that, then another 15 minutes of getting reports from the different tables and ideas they have. So that's it. If you have any questions, you can certainly ask me. But I would really appreciate it, and the vision team would really appreciate it, if everyone who could would attend this first unveiling of half of the vision frame and give us your ideas, and we'll certainly share with you what we're excited about. So you can use the sign-up sheet in the fellowship hall, or you can also email our secretary Norma to indicate that you or anyone else and the number of people from your family who will attend. We look forward to sharing this with you, and we look forward to the event on the 12th.